Okay, fifth graders, so for your homework tonight, we need to figure out first up here which one would be the most appropriate measurement. So if we're talking about the area of a football field, and if you're a football fan, you probably know that they are measured in yards, because they'll talk about the 50-yard line and the 30-yard line. Feet would also work, but typically they're measured in yards. The area of your hand, well, it's never going to be 3 feet. That's a yard, so don't choose that one. Feet, I don't know. Your hand's pretty small. I don't think feet would be a good measurement here. Our book will tell us it's centimeters, but I think inches would also be appropriate because they're very similar in size, centimeters and inches. The area of a postage stamp, our book will again tell us centimeters is the best answer, but I think inches would work. Feet, no, that's way too big, and yards, same thing. Alright, and then the area of a triangular kite, I would imagine that would be the real kite, the real size of a kite. Boy, I don't know which measurement to go with. I would think it probably would be smaller than a yard. Feet, centimeters, inches, it depends on the size of your kite. Our book answer is going to say inches squared, but I think centimeters and feet would also work for that one because it really depends on the size that you're going to use for your kite. Down here, area of a parallelogram shaped sign on a freeway. This one makes more sense. Think about how big those signs are on a freeway. They need lots and lots of people to be able to see them from quite a ways away. Centimeters are going to be way too small. Inches are going to be way too small. Feet and yards would both work. Our book answer is going to say feet, but I think there's nothing wrong with yard. I would accept that as well. Number 6. This time now we're using a formula to find the area of each figure. Remember, we're going to be talking about base times height or length times width. I'm making my 5th graders, I'm trying to have them go with length times width because when we get into 3D shapes that's more important. Length times width for the parallelograms, but then remember for triangles, you need to divide it by 2. So here we go, a number sentence. Let's figure this out. This would look like 20 times 13, and then you're going to need to divide it by 2 because it's a triangle. And if we do that, we can use some scratch paper over here. 20 times 13, 0 and 6, 0 and 2, and we get 260, and if we divide that by 2, we'd get 130. And then number sentence for this one, all we need is our base. If this one is 8 up here, then this down here is also 8. And then our height, we want the shortest distance from the base to the top, would be 2. So 8 times 2, and that's going to equal 16. I'm just going to fold this down so I don't lose my spot. Number sentence for this one, we've got a base of 22. We've got a height of 7. And when we're finished figuring that out, we're going to divide it by 2 because it is a triangle. So let's do some scratch work over here. 22 times 7. 154. And let's divide it by 2. Maybe you can do it mentally. Let's see, why am I not thinking here? 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract and you get 1. You bring down another 4 over here, and 2 times 7 is 14 again. So we get a total up here of 77 for an area. And we better write our unit in here. In this case, our unit is yards. And since we did a yard times a yard, we want to express it as yards squared. I'm going to look up here and check this one as well. This one, I didn't write the unit and I needed to. We would say that one is feet, and since I did times 2, feet times feet, that one needs to be feet squared, and this one should have been centimeters squared. Alright, back to this one. Now we've got a base of 9.5. It might not look like 9.5 because it's up here, but it's actually the same because it's a parallelogram, so the bottom is going to be exactly the same. And times 8. I'm going to switch this to a decimal because it's just easier in my brain to multiply it that way. So I'm going to change it to 9.5, and I'm going to multiply it by 8. And this is 40, 72, 73, 45, 76. Sorry, it's late in the day. I've got one decimal place here, so I'll move one decimal place to the left. And I get an answer of 76, and it looks like we are measuring in meters. We want to square it because we did meters times meters. And it looks like I neglected the number sentence. So let's do 9.5 times 8. We're not going to divide by 2 this time because it's not a triangle. We only divide by 2 when it's a triangle. All right, thanks for working with me today.